people. I'm answering a question that a lot of people ask, and it's a question every girl asks: how to be pretty? How can I be pretty? How can I look like someone who is pleasant to look at? Someone who people like to see, people like to be around, um, someone people want to talk to, someone people treat well. There's so many reasons why we as women want to be pretty, why we value being pretty. Being pretty makes you feel good. When you don't feel pretty, that could ruin your whole entire day. So, why does a girl want to be pretty? It's not just about, being attractive to guys. It's not just about, you know, um, makeup and looks. It's not just, I want to be pretty because, you know, being pretty is nice. It's deeper than that. You want to be pretty so you can feel good. You want to feel good so you can attract good. You want to attract good so you can live a better life, a more fulfilling life. And then on the distant, like when you're watching someone who's pretty from a distance, you can see clearly. It's night and day. Thank you so much, beautiful people. You can see clearly night and day that pretty people get treated better. Okay? Why do pretty people get treated better? That's a question that a lot of people want to know. And even when people don't know why pretty people want to be treated better, they still want to be pretty. Why would you want to be pretty? For what reason do y'all want to be pretty? Why do we want to be pretty? And pretty is not just about, let me just say this. Pretty is not just about um the way that you like how you look with makeup. Absolutely not. You could be so pretty with no makeup on. Okay? Let's just put that out there. You can be so pretty with no makeup on. And pretty, by the way, is a combination of many things. It's not just how you look alone. It's the way you act, the way you speak, the way that you present yourself, the way that you appear to feel about yourself is pretty. Some people value pretty on the surface level, and some people value that deeper pretty. So, what kind of pretty is more important than you? Yeah, somebody says beauty is more than skin deep. That's a fact, AP. What I want you guys to drop in the chat. What is more important to you, the surface level pretty or like the deep pretty? What do you guys like the most? I know that people who value surface level pretty might beauty is more than skin deep. Yeah, some people who value more than just surface level pretty, or people who value surface level pretty, may only see what's present on the outside. Like they may see what's present on the outside. Aura and characteristics. That is a fact because your aura says a lot about you. And again, being pretty has gotten to be like more than just, oh, how you look on the outside. Because that would be more like attraction. Pretty is different from attraction. Attraction is like, oh, you look good. Like you could look at someone and say, "Oh, okay, you look good." But pretty means that when someone looks at you, their eyes lock in. Like there is a sense of very, very surface level or something very close to love when people look at you if you're pretty. Because pretty people get more compliments than just attractive. Okay? If you're attractive, you look nice. It's more like just a tapping your hands on a in the hot boiling water like ooh that was hot. But when you're pretty, it's more of a deeper gravitational thing. So everybody has a different level of, attraction. And the reason why some people are more prettier than others is exactly what we're about to get into right now. So, pretty. There's so many different things that go into it. Obviously, we know if a person looks nice, if they look put together, if they're nice to look at, if they have good genes, you know, pleasant facial features, things like that. Oh, pretty, right? But sometimes people don't realize that pretty, especially when women are looking at other women. A lot of the times, women don't realize it's not just the way you look, but a pretty person acts a certain way. A pretty person has a certain attitude, okay? And pretty people know that in order to feel pretty, they have to carry themselves in a certain way, okay? So you may have two girls that are pretty, and one since sits hunched over. She has her, she's hunched over like this all the time. When she speaks, she's like, yeah, da, 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 da. It's mundane. Or when she speaks, her voice is very, she has different intonations and it's inconsistent. Versus someone who is just as attractive, but she sits up elegantly, when she speaks and when she responds. She does it in a mild way. She's pleasant to listen to. She's pleasant to look at. She's pleasant to watch. So who gets the preference? Who gets more privilege? It's always, guys, always going to be the person with the better outward attitude. Okay, the one who appears to be more put together, if that makes sense. Okay, because there are pretty people or attractive people that you ever heard someone say, "Oh my God, I thought she was a 10 until she opened her mouth," or "I thought she was so attractive until I heard her speak." What does that mean? That means that that person's outward appearance is not matching what they're putting out. That person's physical appearance is not matching what they're putting out. Like the way they speak doesn't match. And we've all seen somebody who's like pretty but doesn't know it, or pretty but doesn't actually, how do you say it? They don't present themselves as good as they could, as well as they could. So, not just, how to be pretty, but this is also going to go into, touch on some things that we could be doing wrong that we can change in order to be pretty. So, if you want to be more pretty, just stay tuned, dive in, and share this with somebody who also wants to be pretty. Okay? And make sure you give this live a thumbs up. And tune in. Drop your questions in the chat. What do pretty people do? Pretty people smell good. Okay. I have this one perfume that it embodies a pretty woman. Okay. The bottle is pretty. The scent is pretty. There's so many notes in it. And I'm just like, oh my God. Like, this is just the epitome of pretty. Because it looks good, it smells good, it has the packaging, it has everything. It does what it's supposed to do. It gets compliments. It's just it's just aspirational. And pretty is aspirational. Pretty looks like showering every day. It looks like healthy skin, healthy hair, healthy nails, beautiful feet. It just looks so aspirational. It's pretty. I mean, when we see a car we want, it's shining, it's everything you want it to be. It's pretty. But if you see a beautiful car that you love and then that thing can't turn on, or when it turns on a bunch of smoke starts coming out, you're instantly turned off. And it's the same thing. It's the same thing with people. It's the same exact thing. Pretty people are positive, you guys. Pretty people are positive. And if you're attractive and you're negative, it just brings down your aura. It brings down um, the way that people view you. It just drops points, you know? And so being pretty is more than just, and this is a little thing that a lot of pretty people or a lot of attractive people don't know and don't practice. And their beauty goes to waste. Do you hear me? Their beauty just goes straight to waste. Like, they're not capitalizing on their beauty as they could be. Why? Because they're doing things that don't match the way that they look. Everybody can benefit off of the privilege of looking good. And you know what? Sometimes it's not always about the genetics. It's not always about genetics. You can still get that privilege if you tap into your inner prettiness. Like, how you gonna work it to suit you. We all knew somebody in school, middle school, high school, that may not have been a perfect 10, but boy did they know how to dress. Oh my god, they knew how to dress. Instant 4 points to your aura. You get 4 points because the fact that you know how to compensate your weakness with such a strength. You know what to do when you're weak. That is just, that gives people the effect of, oh, you're so, oh, I like that person. Oh, they're so cool. The people who are not very attractive, that have such influence and have such, they just have a chokehold on people, right? You'll see creators and people who are just so influential, but they're not very attractive. It's because they tapped into something that they really, really, hang on, guys, because you got to understand it's not always about just looks. It's about looks, but it's not always about just looks, if that makes sense. If you can tap in to that thing that makes you so freaking unique and so stand out, you might be able to get ahead of somebody who was born with it. I'm so serious. And so, looking at, and this is for the people who don't feel very attractive, or for the people who think that they're not attractive enough, or whatever, same thing, right? It's all in your head. It's all in your head, baby. Because if you commit to making your weaknesses your strengths, the world is unstoppable. You're unstoppable. Don't tell me that people who are not attractive, aka ugly people, as y'all like to call it, don't tell me that somebody who's so-called ugly is just supposed to sit back, and don't tell me they don't win in life. Don't tell me they don't make it. Don't tell me that they don't have advantages. Don't tell me that, because I'll show you 10 people at least. I'll name or show you 10 people at least who tapped into their inner strengths and things that they're really good at, to the point where nobody even asked for them to be pretty. Like, oh, I don't care about your pretty. So imagine, let's reel it in. Yes, that and I say that all the time. God made all his children beautiful in their own way. Whether or not the children see it, that's another thing. But imagine if you were born attractive. Imagine you're born attractive, you got good genes, you got nice features, people like to look at your face. Oh, and you got that body, right? Tapping in now. See, the thing a lot of pretty people don't do is don't self reflect. Oh, I'm pretty. I could just rely on my looks. They don't often self reflect because the world is constantly favoring them and just ignoring their mistakes. Okay? So that's one advantage that a pretty person does have is a pretty person will get forgiven more easily than someone who's not pretty or who's not attractive. And we all have seen examples of that. However, if you're willing to do the work, regardless of whether you're a little bit pretty or not pretty at all, if you think you just being able to be willing to do the work, to do that self reflection, to tap in and figure out what the hell is wrong with you, what the hell is wrong with me, and point out your own weaknesses and your own flaws and fix them, oh, you become unstoppable. Now you're so freaking beautiful. You just went from a 7 to a 10. You just went from a freaking 4 to a 7, a 7.5. And a 7.5's in this world, listen, getting it like clockwork, okay? Getting it like clockwork. At a 7.5 in this world, whether you're a guy or a girl, you can literally print money because you're that much attractive. So, really, we could talk about prettiness all day and what products to use to make your skin look so luminous and beautiful and blah, 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 right? And you should know that. You should know how to do that. You should care about yourself enough to be like, you know what, I want the best of the best. Okay? Or I want something that works for me. At least something that works for me. Okay? Pretty is just another advantage. It's the cherry on top. So what are pretty people out here doing? Well, what are average people? If you want to know what pretty people do to be pretty, you need to know what average people do to do pretty. Because a lot of average people turn pretty. A lot of average people turn pretty. See, a lot of average people have less than perfect teeth. Okay? They might have a crooked smile. They might have something about them that makes them different, like, a lopsided face, or, they may not like their nose. They may have too thin lips or and their head too thin or too big lip, whatever, disproportionate face, blah, 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 blah. What did they do? And this is not about going in and reconstructing your physical appearance. Absolutely not. I actually would not recommend that. But if you want to do that, baby, do you. I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody not to improve themselves. But I think that inner self work is what really makes someone pretty. Like that's the true prettiness, because you get to feel pretty and you've earned that, and you've worked on yourself. So what are pretty people doing? Pretty people are making sure that their hygiene is good. Pretty people are showering at least once a day, okay? I listen. I can tell you about showering. We could talk about that on another, like hygiene on another live, and how to have the best. I'm talking about the best hygiene to where you don't even stink ever. If you guys want that, drop that in the chat. We will get into that if that's what you guys want. You'll never stink. Like, do my routine, you won't stink. You won't. Okay? So, pretty people are out here, like, getting ahead of their problems. Like, if they have yellow teeth or yellowing teeth, they fixing it. They're either getting white strips or they're using the right toothpaste, the right products to fix that. So that they have a beautiful, radiant smile. Okay? Okay? Because they want that inner work to be packaged in a nice, pretty package. Okay? They're not gonna just rip their teeth out because they're a little bit yellow and then put veneers. They're gonna do the work and get it. Pretty people don't just sip their coffee out of the cup, they use straws because they've invested in their smile and they're not gonna stain it. Uh-uh. Mm-mm. They know to take that straw every time they sip a cup of coffee or tea, and they put that straw on their tongue, and they sip, and that coffee goes straight to the back because they're not gargling with coffee. Okay, pretty people is not humble enough. What does that mean when one says humble? Pretty and humble, pretty and humble. A lot of people want pretty people to be humble, and a lot of people expect that pretty people are stuck up. You know how many times I've been told, like treated mean by a girl in school, and then when we end up on the same team, the same step team, or the same class sitting next to each other, we're finally partners in on a project or something, and they go, "Oh, I thought you were mean, or I thought you were stuck up. You thought I was stuck up?" I mean, pretty people can be stuck up, but I can assure you, I've never been stuck up. And sometimes people project, and they'll think that you're stuck up, and you're not, just because you may be a little quiet, and you might not be somebody who's extremely um, like an in crowd person, if that makes sense. So pretty people automatically get stuck up. So pretty people actually, the ones who care, they have to work a little harder, or they feel they have to work a little harder to be relatable or to be seen as not stuck up, because there's such a stigma around being pretty and being stuck up. So um, I wouldn't I wouldn't just plaster that term um, to someone who's pretty or attractive and say they're automatically stuck up, because that is a reflection. That's actually a projection, and it's a reflection of one's inferiority. So if you feel like that person is above you and you're down here, and they have attraction and they have more attraction than you, and you feel that you can't connect with them because they're so attractive and they make you scared to talk to them or approach them, then okay, that the easiest thing to self-soothe, to deflect, to take the accountability off of oneself, is just to say they're stuck up, or they didn't come to me, so they think they're better than me. And that's not just to do with prettiness, that has to do with a lot of things. Like, people avoid going into expensive department stores because of the little money they have in their bank account. They don't even feel worthy of going into those stores. That is not the store's problem, that's the person's problem. And so worthiness comes from within, and worthiness is something you determine for yourself. You only take the positive things that are said to you about your self-worth, and you leave everything else out. You leave everything else out, because there's no way that you should be absorbing and practicing someone's negative projection, someone's bullying words onto yourself, and believing them and cycling them through your thoughts. Then eventually you move down the totem pole, and you might be a very attractive person but can't see it, can't feel it, can't act it, can't think it, can't move that way, because you've been operating on a level where you've been telling yourself, I'm not pretty, I'm not attractive, I'm not this, I'm not that. So to reverse that and actually become pretty, you got to tell yourself, I'm worthy, because prettiness is tied to worth. And to actually adopt the feeling of prettiness, because it is a feeling, it's an action, it's an energy, it's a bunch of things. So in order to adopt that feeling and feel that way, it takes for some reprogramming. Why are we telling ourselves that we're not pretty or attractive in the first place? And furthermore, why are we seeking validation from others about our beauty, our self worthiness, our prettiness? Now, that doesn't mean wake up and just roll out of bed and carry on with your day the way you are. That doesn't mean don't put effort into your looks. That's not what that means. That just means don't go so hard with the external validation, because I guarantee you the prettiest people already believed that they were pretty before everybody else started telling them that they were. They already knew, they already had an inkling. And I'm so serious. Depending on how you carry yourself. Okay, going back to like what makes you pretty, carrying the way you carry yourself. People will see that and assess, and they'll determine if you feel pretty, and that's what makes them see you as pretty or not see you as pretty. This is so funny because I see this all the time, like on TikTok, for instance. There's a girl that looks just like a girl that I went to school with that nobody ever paid any mind. Nobody ever, and she looks just like that girl. The difference between the girl that's famous and the girl that nobody paid any mind at school is the attitude. It was the attitude. One saw themselves as pretty, and the other one saw themselves as subpar, unattractive, and inferior. One girl showed up like this. Hey y'all, how you doing? I got my hair done. And the other one shows up like, hi. Which one are you? I mean, seriously, if there's two four rated individuals, and one shows up like this and the other one shows up like this, which one are you going to want to be around? You have to be around them. So which one are you going to want to be around? The one with confidence. Duh. And a lot of people say fake it till you make it. And, I understand that there's some safety and love behind that statement. But don't just fake it. Really do the work and you'll get there. Being pretty is not about being perfect. It has a lot to do with self-reflection. Because you know what? A lot of pretty people can't even handle rejection. A lot of pretty people their foundation is based upon what other people think. So if other people stop complimenting them, if they stop hearing the compliments, whoa, they go crazy. I gotta get the compliments. So let me do this, let me do that. Because that foundation was not built on one's belief, the belief of the beauty of oneself. It was built on what other people think and say and feel about you. So even if you are pretty and you get complimented on a daily basis, you need to do the work of a pretty person, of someone who's genuinely pretty. I'm talking about act pretty, look pretty, feel pretty, smell pretty. So that you don't need that outside validation. You don't need it. It's nice. It's beautiful to have. It's beautiful when other people celebrate and appreciate you. But you don't need that to believe you are who you are. No, because you act it, you walk it, you talk it, you live it. When nobody's watching, you're doing it. You're pretty. Okay? But to finesse it and really, really, really squeeze the value out of this opportunity, because prettiness is an opportunity. You want to make sure your hair looks healthy, your skin looks great. Okay? So if your skin is not in the best shape, it doesn't mean you're not pretty. It just means there's room for improvement. It just means you're not as attractive as you could be, which is a plus plus plus. Because if you're not attractive as you could be, that means you got room to level up. And there's such beauty in that. There's such beauty in that. Like a lot of people just want the meal, but they don't take time to really understand what goes into it. What are the ingredients? And when you got them ingredients perfected, nobody can take your they could take the meal, but they can't take the recipe. So If you tell yourself, hey, this is what I am, if you've been doing the work, then you'll start to believe it, and you're affirmed in that truth. Then hey, you can duplicate it, duplicate it, duplicate it. And this is when someone starts to look good every day. A lot of pretty people, like, listen, pretty people, truly pretty, like, people, beautiful people are pretty inside and out. It's not just about the outward appearance, it's definitely the inward appearance. But you need to look like you're pretty and you know it at the same time. And this is just my opinion. Like, you don't have to take it. No one has to agree with what I'm saying. You're allowed to disagree because you're allowed to have your own opinion. But if you really want to max this thing out, look it. Look it too. Why not? It's your right. It's your liberty. It's your truth. Why can't you? Why not? Do you really need permission for that? No, because you are the boss of your own life. So if you're pretty, it's because you want to be. Thank you. And yes, some say don't ever judge a book by their cover. I think we all need to make save space for surprises. Not everything is what it seems. So always be willing to look into something before you assume and make a concrete judgment. Absolutely. I can totally agree with that. A female can't accept me for me, then they're not on my level. Yes. A female. Hi. And we all need to be kind and patient with each other because everyone is on a journey. Everyone is on a journey. We're all growing and changing, and life is ever changing. Circumstances change. So we got to be patient with ourselves, and we have to be patient and kind to one another. It's very important to be kind to one another. People who are pretty, it doesn't mean that they're perfect. It means they got so many things right that I just love it the way it is. I love what I'm looking at. I love what I see. And how do you get people to love looking at you? One of the reasons or one of the ways you can do that, and y'all could get y'all notepads if you need to, because I'm going to be dropping so many gems. And this is not really something that is extremely obvious. But positivity. Positivity is it's so pretty. It's so attractive. It's so valuable. It just increases your worth when you're positive. It's to the point right now in my life where I can't stand being around negativity. I can't even coexist with the negativity. Listen, you gotta go or I gotta go because I can't do it. I can't do any negativity. I know how damaging negativity is to one's positivity. And it shows when there's constant negativity in someone's life. And when someone is acting from a place of negativity, it makes them less unattractive. It makes them less attractive. So they start to look less pretty. They forget how to move, how to act. They start focusing on that, and then the other things start to go down. Another thing about prettiness is this is something to consider, right? And this is subjective and it doesn't always apply in every situation, but prettiness um does have a place in proximity to naturalness. Let me repeat that. Prettiness has a place in proximity to naturalness. The more you look like you is the more pretty you appear. Okay? The more pretty you appear. Um, the more things look good on you. Okay? And things looking good on you doesn't mean that they have to be your exact natural. So it just has to fit you. So it needs to look genuine. Okay? That is the proximity to naturalness that pretty has. It's just a natural thing that comes along with being pretty. How you walk. Y'all always make fun of people or laugh at them who don't walk good in heels. Why? Why is that? That's because the way you walk has a lot to do with your level of attraction or your level of attractiveness. And that's just an extreme example. But even when someone just doesn't have a great walk or they're not walking in the best way that they could, people automatically will go, "Ooh, what's wrong with them?" Start judging. So get your walk right. Okay? Get your walk right. Make sure your walk, whatever you got going on, practice it in the mirror. See, growing up, it's kind of like I had all these teachers and guides, you know. You have to present yourself in a respectful way. You have to sit like this. Oh, don't say that. Speak like this. And why? Why? Because that affects your inner view and that it affects your outer view. And that affects your point of view and it reflects the way people see you and treat you. Prettiness. So the more positives you have on the list of things, is the more pretty you'll appear. Y'all, it's not always about features. I'm sorry. Yeah, on magazines and television and stuff like that. When it comes to like vanity, yeah, sure. I mean, sure, people want to look at something that's eye catching, but the majority of us are in the world for real, not in magazines. You don't show up in a magazine or show up in um, on TV more than you do in person. No one does. We all have to live in existence for real. We got to get up. We got to walk outside to our car or walk to go commute to wherever we have to go or ride there or drive there. We have to interact on some level with people in real life. So the perception of of your image is being judged on a scale of how well you can cover positivity, your walk, the way you speak, the way you smell, the color of your teeth, the health of your skin, your hair, even your nails, um, down to your lips. I mean, people are constantly like looking for cues to see if you're someone who looks like you care about yourself. And so that will put you ahead of most people. Type free me in the chat if this is helpful. Let me know if this is resonating. Because these are just some things that I learned from wise teachers. And it has put me ahead light years in life. Light years. Okay? This ain't stuff I'm just making up. This ain't something I just came across in a book or a magazine. This is for real. This is really life. So, if you want to be basic, if you want to be average, just know. Just know and accept that there can be more. There can be more. Being pretty is a currency, okay? It allots you a certain level of freedom, of benevolence, of opportunity. And I'm not going to sit here and deny that. Being pretty unlocks so much opportunity. And one would say, well, it's pretty privilege and that's not fair. It's not fair that someone worked on themselves and now they get treated nicely because of it. That's not fair. Well, okay. I'm not here to argue about whether or not pretty privilege is a bad thing or a good thing. All I'm saying is, if someone has an advantage that they have worked on to have, they're going to use it. They're going to use it. So what's your advantage? Just like we discussed earlier in this live, you can put a strength on your weaknesses. It's just like any other muscle that you could grow. Okay? It's just like cooking. If the water's too hot, if the fire's too hot, you turn it down. If the water's too high, you lower it. You moderate. You moderate, you supplement, you complement so that you can have what? Balance. And so things can turn out your way. What makes life any different? What makes life any less than that? Absolutely nothing. So that's why having a positive mindset is so freaking important. Do you like being around someone who's constantly complaining about things that they don't have and things that they want and can't get and they're not working to get them? Or do you want to be around winners? And this is why I don't like when people say, or I don't understand when people say somebody is not humble enough. Now there's definitely arrogance. And there's people who live 1000% in their ego, and it could be very exhausting to be around people like that. But if someone is simply confident, why would that irritate you? You should have confidence as well. And confidence comes when you accept that, hey, I can do this. I can be this thing I want to be. I'm worthy. It doesn't have anything to do with others. I don't like when people rate themselves against other people, and they're like, oh, this person shouldn't have that, I should, because that's jealousy. And I don't like jealousy. Jealousy is disgusting, because jealousy implies that one is defeated and one is not worthy. And I have issues with people who really truly believe they're not worthy of things. Because that's a lie. That's a lie. You ain't worthy. No, you just got to figure out your own formula to get it. I remember in, I want to say 2021, I had, I swore there was a note I was singing and I couldn't sing it, and it was just like from Beyonce's song Speechless. It was like, you got me speechless. You know the part where she's like, yes, yes, all I can say is yes, yes, and then that big yeah, oh, that high note, right? And at the time I'm singing in my room and I'm like, I don't think I could sing that. Da, da, da. I'm telling myself this. I don't think I can sing that anymore. Because I used to sing it every day. I used to sing every day. Right? And then I remembered back when I was in voice pedagogy school, and my mentor told me that your notes are there. Like, as you age, as you grow, as you get older, your voice is going to change every 2 to 3 years, okay? And you can still sing the same things. Sometimes you just have to access it differently. Are y'all with me or are y'all with me? So, because I've had to give myself voice lessons. I give myself voice lessons all the time, right? Because being a voice pedagogy teacher, you know how to diagnose and recalibrate the voice. So I'm sitting here like, all right, so if that's true, now I'm questioning my mentor if that's true. Well, then how do I do it? So I start singing and I did a little trick, opened my throat, and I went for it again. And I sang, and it came out so beautifully, and I just dropped, and I was like dancing and rolling around like, I still got it, I still got it. So, I was so excited. And so, had I sat there and was like, just kept telling myself, oh, I can't sing that anymore, I can't sing, I don't accept defeat. If had I sat there and kept telling myself that, I to this day would never have sang that note again, and would have never actually tried to sing a song with that much range. Never, 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 never. So I said, listen. Everything in life that we think we can't do, we're going to figure out how to do it and how to get it. Because what the heck? You telling yourself you can't do this for why? For why? Why would you tell yourself you can't do this? Why would you tell yourself you're not worthy? That you shouldn't or cannot have this? For why? Because all you're going to do is believe it and move like that and act like that and feel like that. And then it's going to be true. When you go to try to check out, you ain't going to get it because you've been telling yourself you're not. So what if you started telling yourself, I am so beautiful, and acting like someone who's pretty and someone who's beautiful, showering once, twice, or more a day, at least once a day. I don't know. I don't know how people just don't shower, I don't know. I don't get it, but I don't want to know. Don't explain it to me. But but I'll say this. Walk it, talk it, act it, feel it, smell it, believe it, taste it, dream it. Do it. How about instead of it being an adjective, pretty, 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 how about it be a verb? Let's switch the way we think about it. Let's switch this up. Okay, pretty's not an adjective anymore. It's a verb. So now I gotta put action to it. Verbs are action words. What if instead of looking pretty, we did pretty? How do I do pretty? Well, I take care of this. I take care of that. And once you start doing that, you'll radiate so much positivity. You'll start getting so many freaking compliments. When I tell y'all, I can't go anywhere without not getting a compliment. You guys, and to be completely honest, I want to get up and go for walks sometimes, like I see people doing in my neighborhood, like anybody else, any other normal human being. But the cars that keep stopping by, the people who want to slow down and talk to, I be like, listen, I'm going in the house because I don't know what y'all, what? I don't know you. You stopping, you honking, I'm walking and I'm getting startled by horns. I'm telling you, I was out the other day. I had to go to the BMW dealership to get the car looked at. And I'm at the dealership and I was hungry because I got up and I went there early and I was hungry. And they had like a restaurant in there and I didn't really want to eat that stuff. And so I was like, let me see. This looks like an area where I could find something like like a salad or something. Let me see. So I started looking around, take a stroll outside, and this guy rolls up on me and honks at me, and I'm like startled like this. And I was just like, oh no. I said, no, 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 no. I mean, that horn was so loud. I don't think people realize how loud the horn could be. I'd rather someone roll down their window and say, oh my God, you're so beautiful. But he was like honking and talking out the window. I'm just like, you could have just left the honk out of this, sir. Like, I didn't need that. Now you just like, that ish was like, he had the, oh my God. Anyway, I say that not to brag, but because when you radiate that level of positivity, and you'll see it, you'll smell it, you'll start to hear it, you'll start feeling it coming. Trust me. Um, you know, and it'll be undeniable. And you will start to see people who don't feel adequate. You'll start to see them acting a certain way. You'll start to see the looks that other people give you because they don't feel that they're worthy of that. Because and let's just put this out there. Nobody should ever be mad at someone because they're pretty or because they're rich or they look good. What sense does that make? Like, I was taught not to envy or be jealous of others with the second part of that being you don't know what they had to go through to get that or to be that. But I think even in addition to that, it ain't your business. People who pocket watch and, oh, this billionaire made this much money from this business venture. Okay, it's one thing to um, gather information to learn, but it's a whole nother thing to be mad at somebody because they're beautiful or because they're pretty, baby. Get pretty yourself, or figure out what you could do to increase your aura, please. Like, because what? Why would we? So I never understood that. Why would you be upset with? And that's one of the reasons why some pretty people just don't bother talking to people sometimes and don't bother interacting with certain people because if you're gonna treat them, somebody looking at them or rolling their eyes or something, why would they come up to you? Your energy is off, and that type of negativity, it infiltrates and it makes a person feel bad. And pretty people like to be around people who feel good. And trust me, there's way more people, there's way more people out there that will celebrate a beautiful person. Okay? And those are the people that pretty people want to be around. You think I'm going to sit there and be around somebody who's negative or treats me a weird way because I look a certain way or because I get a certain type of love and reverence? Child, listen. I'll ignore you. This shade right here is Bordeaux. Bordeaux by that's the name of it, is Bordeaux by Fenty. It's the traced out lip pencil, and it's like the color of Bordeaux wine. Horns are loud. Yeah, they are very loud and can blow your eardrums. So a hot pink gloss would look nice. Thank you. Let's do it. So yeah, I absolutely will always tell you guys to celebrate yourself, your beauty, your prettiness. Be it. Don't feel like a fraud because you're practicing self-love. And do it. Do it. Do it. You deserve to feel your best. And that best version of you is going to automatically radiate prettiness. It's going to automatically radiate, I love myself. Hello. Because it has no choice but to radiate that. Because that's what you have been putting out there. That's what you've been doing with yourself. And it's a verb. It's no longer just this description that people get when they look pleasant. It's bigger than that. Let's see. So we have a hot pink lippy. I feel like a Barbie girl. I feel like a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. And let's do a sparkly on top. Nice little sparkly sparkle. I was gonna go with a red lip, but why not the hot pink? What a great suggestion. And there we have it. Beautiful hot pink. And that's it. So you guys feel free to drop your questions in the chat. And I hope this helped you guys to understand. And I hope this answered your question on how to be more pretty. How to be pretty. You don't get pretty. You do pretty. You don't get pretty. You do pretty. It's an action word. You know? So, make sure you guys share this with everybody. It helps the channel a lot when you guys share, and I really appreciate you guys because you're so good with that. And a lot of you guys ask what's my Instagram. It's same name, Aquila Sky Official. I'm also over on TikTok. So if you're new here, go over there, or if you haven't gone yet, make sure you go over there as well and follow me on Instagram. I'm Aquila Sky Official everywhere, okay? Just saying, because that's my handle, Aquila Sky Official. I love you guys. I'm going to leave this video up, so if you need to come back to it, just drop a comment once you see it on my channel. And I'll see y'all in the next one.